talk about pruning existing pear trees. Many of us move into a home that have old pear trees that have been neglected for a number of years. The first thing you want to do is you want to decide how high you want it. Pear trees, you don't need to decrease the height a whole lot, but if you do, just get it up to the top. Cut it in a place where a lateral branch is an outward growing branch that you want to keep. Just cut it right above that. You want to cut out any dead wood that is in the tree. Cut out all water sprouts, those branches that grow straight up. This has a number if you look at the top. Those need to be cut off right at the base. If there's any ground sprouts, cut those off. Then you want to go in the middle of the tree and clean up all the branches that are growing inside the tree in the middle. Cut those right off the base. You want it open so air can circulate and sunlight can penetrate. And for the same reason, you want to go onto the outside of this pear tree and clean up any branch clusters that would prevent sunlight from getting into the middle of the tree. So on this side, there's this large branch. I would cut out a lot of those large branches on the outside to let sunlight in. This tree has a lot of spurs, which is a good thing, and that's just due to the fact that it was pruned early in life and has been pruned pretty regularly, and then the trees produce the spurs that grow about 1/4 of an inch each year, and that 1/4 of an inch will bear fruit every year, and they're sturdy. So you want as many spurs. You want to keep as many spurs as you can. Other than that, you want to cut out any downward growing branches. I see a number of them that I'd cut out. Just cut those off at the base. Those are the branches that just go straight down. Here's an existing pear tree. It's a couple years old. It's growing quite well. It's developing a lot of spurs, which is a good thing. As far as pruning, this year you want to get rid of, you see how pear trees tend to grow straight up. A lot of the branches have narrow crotches, which you don't want. The ideal crotch angle, you want it about 60 degrees, but it's hard to get with that with the pear tree unless you prune it, or some people put weights on the end and bend them down during the year so they grow that way. Cut this one off. This is growing straight up. I would reduce the height of this. It has too many leaders coming up. It's getting too tall. I would decide which leader I'd want, cut the other two off, and then cut that one leader that I keep at right above a bud that I want a lateral branch to grow out of. I would decrease some of these. This is a good branch. See the bigger angle of the crotch. I'd cut this one out because it's growing inward. You want to keep this middle a little bit open. I'd keep this modified leader system, way to prune this with a central leader and having a few scaffolding or lateral branches grow out at points along the trunk. And then when it gets to a height, you can see it's been pruned right up here, and then all these other ones grow, but you'll cut that off and cut that one off so it can produce lateral branches more. You also want to prune any branches that are touching and rubbing. I don't see many. This one rubs against this one, but this is way too tall. I would cut it right here because that's at a point where this is a good lateral growing branch. This one's growing straight up. You don't want that, but you want to keep this bud because it's a spur. Cut that off. You want to cut them right at the base of that branch so they don't grow back. See, a lot of these spurs are growing along this branch, which is a good thing. But this branch is getting too tall, so I would cut this off because of this branch is growing out at a good angle. This one needs to come out. And cut this one off. You want to look for any diseased parts of the tree and cut those off. That's just a blossom. But if, for example, if this was diseased, you want to cut it off all the way, since this is small, or about 6 inches below where it looks diseased.